Good to be with you again. I guess at this point in my life, I'm just amazed at some things. I never expected in my life to see our freedom of religion challenged. We just took it for granted, of course. We are in a land where our freedom is respected. Never thought I'd see the day when some Delaware legislators would seek to do something that is so detrimental to the Catholic faith. I've spoken before about this. I think it's important. I think it's the most blatant attack on the Catholic faith that I've ever seen. And I'm sure the legislators who are proposing HB 474 had no intention of attacking the faith. They just don't know. They don't understand what it's all about. To try to force Catholic priests to divulge what they have heard in confession, I can't imagine anything they could do that would be more insulting, degrading, upsetting to us. Forgiveness of sins through Jesus Christ in His living body, the Church, through His ordained ministers, is at the very heart of our Catholic faith. For many centuries, priests have at times endured being imprisoned, tortured, even put to death to safeguard the seal of confession. It is sacred. And no human law will take over the divine law. Every Catholic priest knows if they were ever to divulge anything from confession, they would be excommunicated. Only the Pope himself could lift it. Once a priest would do that, he would never again be allowed to function. And it's all because we invite people to come to the sacrament and know that when they confess their sins to the priest, that's the end of it. It will never be talked about with anyone else. I was amazed to read that when the sponsor of this legislation was told that most confessions take place anonymously, his reaction was, well, that's a problem with the Catholic Church. What's that supposed to mean? Does someone expect the Catholic priest going to say, some anonymous person came and confessed a sin? Or maybe they expect us to put alarms on a confessional, so if somebody were to confess the sin, alarms would go off, lights would go on, a person would be held in the confession until they identified themselves to the priest. It's ridiculous. No one would ever have dared to interfere in the worship of the Jewish synagogue, the Muslim mosque, a Baptist church, Methodist church, Presbyterian church, Lutheran church. No, only the Catholic Church is subject to this kind of abuse. And I suppose the legislators assume that, well, Catholic people will just roll over and live with it. I certainly hope that you all who believe in the faith and hold this Catholic Church sacred to the Lord will stand up for once in your life. If you've never done it before, make clear to the legislators, this cannot stand. They are willing to respect the confidentiality between an attorney and a client. And here the attorney knows who the client is. But they're not willing to respect the confidentiality between a penitent and confessor when the confessor probably doesn't know who is confessing. Please, if you've never acted before, please stand up now for what is right and just and defend our Catholic faith. How odd that this should be coming at the time when we are nearing the end of our Lenten season, which is all about repentance. And here we are encouraging folks to come next week to our penance celebration on Tuesday. And the following week, on Monday of Holy Week, the bishop is calling on Catholics throughout our diocese to come on Reconciliation Monday, when priests in every parish will be there from 3 to 8 p.m. for confessions. And all of this, obviously, in the context that what is said in confession stays in confession. It is not talked about with anyone else. That's the mercy of our God. That's what our Lent has been all about, calling us to recognize where we fail the Lord, where we need to change, where we need to come back to Him to receive what only He can give. Through His ordained ministers, He gives mercy, forgiveness, and peace. God bless you and your families.